up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of Inferno Combat podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Best Boxing, joined here by Big Man.
Hey, it's Hadrian here. What's up?
Hey, we love to see it. Yeah, so in this episode, we're gonna have some juicy topics. A lot of good stuff is gonna go down. So let's get right into it. As I'm aware that you probably know that Whyte versus Povetkin 2 is in the making. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's actually a really dangerous fight for White because if he loses this, I mean, that's his shot at the World Championship over. It's pretty good for Povetkin, he gets another chance, prove it that it wasn't just a fluke of a shot he made. So I think it's a really good match, a really interesting match, a match that didn't really need a rematch, but I'm pretty sure that most people are glad there is a rematch because, it shows if, the first fight was, how it was supposed to go off, if Povetkin got lucky, if you want to say. But yeah,
Yeah,
what do you think of it?
yeah, to be honest, I think it's a good fight for Povetkin and for White as well, to get his confidence back. That first fight kind of shocked me because we both watched it, and I mean, White completely dominated. He knocked Povetkin down twice, I think. And then for Povetkin to come with that uppercut and knock him out was probably the most unexpected things I was expecting. But yeah, that's good. It's happening, and I hope White wins because he deserves the title
Mm.
shot for years. Everyone's been ducking him. So yeah. Um, but yeah, do you think White has a chance against Fury if he manages to win and if it comes down to the title?
To be honest, I don't think he has a shot against Fury. I think White's a very good fighter. I just think that right now the heavyweight division, even though we talk about the lightweights, the welterweight division, the heavyweight division is still stacked with talents. And I think that White's gonna have a shot when the AGAs and the Tyson Furies, retire, and he'll have a shot, get a belt once they're out of the picture. But right now, I mean, I'm wishing him the best luck. I mean, it's always good, want to challenge yourselves. And White still can get better, but from the way he's been boxing, the way that after a combo he leaves himself exposed, just the little things he does. I think that Fury's too good of a boxer to not, take advantage of that. Yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think White definitely doesn't have a chance against Fury. To be honest, honestly, I don't think anyone at the heavyweight division right now has a chance against Fury, just because Fury just
Yeah.
proven himself how insane he is by TKOing Wilder, which is again very unexpected. I'm pretty sure no one expected that. So yeah, it's definitely a tough fight. I don't know, to be honest, like White is very underrated in the heavyweight division. I don't even know what a good fight for him would be, because every fight in the heavyweight division for him would be a good fight. To be
Do you
honest,
know what I think a good fight would be?
yeah, go ahead.
Deontay Wilder. I think that would be a banger of fights.
I was about to say Andy Ruiz, but yeah, Deontay Wilder,
That's
that
another
would
good fight,
be,
yeah.
yeah, Wilder White would be a banger. To be honest, though, I think it will be an easy win for Wilder just because of his height and reach and power.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, but I feel like if White can pull it off, that's the kind of fight he needs to get a title shot.
Yeah, for sure. So, staying with boxing, we know that the Canelo fight is in 2 weeks. We've been discussing this off the podcast, but what do you think of this mandatory? It's kind of annoying, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Yildirim is coming off a loss to Chris Eubank. It's it's the kind of thing where it's mostly the boxing politics that requires that this is the case. Like, yeah, I feel like there's been lots of slack against Canelo, being like, Canelo, why are you fighting this guy and not these other guys? But I feel like it's a mandatory, so I mean, you can't really blame him. But at the same time, I feel like it's a WBC's fault for having a mandatory in this situation because I feel like Yildirim, all due respect to him, I don't feel like he's really like he really should be the mandatory of Canelo. But um, it'll be good to see on an aspect just how good Canelo is. Seeing Canelo, I mean, being able to operate against someone who's not like at that elite level. It'll be good to see just how much he's able to do in there in the ring. So I think it's good practice for him, but honestly, I don't think you should really take it too seriously. I mean, yeah, I'm not feeling it too much. What about you?
Yeah, like you said, like this dude's come off from a loss and then he retired. So in theory, it should be an easy. It's just gonna be like an easy spar for Canelo. I don't see Canelo going full out because, in fact, there's no reason. But I don't understand why these mandatories are so bad because, to be honest, basically all mandatories in boxing are, let's face it, trash. The only good division
Yeah,
or organization that has decent mandatories is the IBF. And the IBF
yeah. An
mandatories are
example of
good.
that would be Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. I mean, Errol, what a mandatory situation there.
Facts, yeah. So since you brought it up, who do you think would win in that fight?
I mean, Errol Spence and Kell Brook have already fought, but I mean, I think Spence would dominate like each and every time. I just think that he has too much like fundamental boxing ability to that Kelbrook. I feel like Kelbrook is good, but he just like he lacks a bit of the heart that Spence has, and I just think Spence is just better at what Kelbrook does well, and he has more heart. So I think he kind of like dissects him every time.
Yeah, I agree. Um, what else is a hot topic in boxing? Jake versus Mayweather. It seems like that will be happening if Jake manages to pull this win against Ben Askren. Not gonna lie, I
Yeah,
never thought that Mayweather, because Mayweather was the one to call Jake out, which is super surprising.
yeah,
But yeah, what do you think of that?
yeah. I mean, Mayweather is smart. He sees the money in it. Like it makes business sense. I mean, of course it does. Jake Paul is a huge name. But the thing for me is that what does Jake Paul gain from this? Because like I mean he's clean on a bit like Logan, while Logan's more in there for the payday. I feel like Jake could want to win, but I just don't see how he could win. I mean, sure Jake's the bigger guy, but we've seen that before. McGregor was bigger than Floyd. Corrales was bigger than Floyd. I mean, Floyd's been fighting younger guys his whole career, so I think this is just gonna be an easy win for Mayweather. To be honest, I mean, what about you? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, like for sure, it's gonna be an easy win. I wasn't thinking that Jake was gonna win, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting
Yeah,
because this man's getting a lot of hate, and for him to be called out by a pro boxer, it just proves how much hate this man's getting. And no offense, but he deserves all of the hate because he's been going on the like social media and talking trash to everyone. Like the
yeah.
response that he sent to Mayweather, you know, it was too
Oh my
savage. He
gosh.
was just making fun of him that he can't read.
Yeah,
So not
talking
a
about his
good sport.
daughter saying he can't read. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, also 50 Cent apparently might fight Floyd Mayweather. That would be like the event of the year. Big man 50 against Floyd Mayweather. Definitely easy knockout for 50, no question.
Bet the house in 50 cents.
Yeah, bro, easy money there.
Easy. Easy win, 50 cents. Too much boxing ability. He's proven too much in the ring. He's too experienced. He's too big for Floyd. His jab's too good. But nah. But on no seriousness, like I really think that fight shouldn't happen because I mean, if it does happen, it's gonna be Floyd Mayweather's easiest fight by a long haul. I mean, come on, 50 Cent can't box, let alone fights. I mean, I guess hopefully I get proven wrong.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna get proven wrong. I think 50 Cent will get dropped in the first round. Like, there's no way he's surviving a round with Floyd Mayweather. Even though he's bigger and has much more muscle mass, but that doesn't really count. It's not WWE. Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely some interesting fights going on here. Another interesting fight will be David Haney against Linares. You know, this is very anticipated and a great fight that's gonna bring a lot of people back to the sport of boxing. A great show. What do you think of this fight?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a difficult fight for Heaney, actually. I think just stylistically and build wise is a hard one for Heaney. I mean, Linares is a bigger guy who's got a really good jab. And that's exactly what Heaney's a smaller guy who relies on his jab. And when there's a bigger guy with a better jab, the bigger guy is gonna have the more effective jab. So
Yeah.
this is gonna be hard for Heaney. I think that's good because I think that's like the fight that Haney can get to prove that, hey, Lopez, I do deserve a shot at you. You can't just say 5 years till you fight me. Yeah, I beat Linares. I feel like even though Gamboa is a big name, I feel like Gamboa was almost, was a bit past his prime. So I feel like in I don't say in his prime, but in a good shape, Linares would be a good win. And I think for Linares, it's a good shot for him to get a title shot. I mean, sorry, Lopez, because Haney is a title shot. He's the WBC world champion. But I think if Linares beats Haney, this is a straight shot for him to get at Lopez, because Lopez is looking at this new thinking, oh hey, Haney wasn't that good after all, and Linares is a bit older than me. Let me just take him out now. So I think yeah, it's a good fight for both guys. I feel like Haney needs it more, and yeah, great fight. What about you? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And this will be an insane fight, to be honest. Because it will be a really, really hard fight. If we thought Gamboa fight would be hard, this is way harder. And to be honest, I do think that the pressure will be on Haney because he needs to prove himself that he's worthy of his title and that he's the best in the division because he certainly thinks so. So if he loses this fight, then his chance of fighting one of the big guys like Tio or Ryan will go down, which is a shame. But yeah, to be honest, I kind of see this fight as a 50-50. Each man has an equal chance of winning. They both have knockout power. Um, Linares, I can see Linares possibly outboxing Haney, but
Yeah,
I can
sure.
see Haney knocking Linares out. So I don't know. I think that's how the fight will go. What would be your fight prediction if you had to predict it?
Well, first off, we just gotta say I'm a bit of a Haney fan myself, but I try to keep bias out of it. I think that's Linares, is a big problem for Haney, but I think Haney is just he's too smooth, he's too technically sound, like he's too good defensively to let Linares' jab take over. And I feel like Haney, being a natural counterpuncher and being really good at picking his shots, will just gradually pick Linares apart. But yeah, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like Haney, he even said that he's trying to copy Pretty Boy's Floyd style, and you can see that in his defense. He kind of has a similar approach. Um, and to be honest, I also do prefer Haney over Linares. So I don't know. I don't want to sound biased, but even if I'm not biased, it's just Haney is so smooth with his combinations and he's fast as well. So that makes him a very lethal puncher. And he also has a lot of power in his shots as well. So that's lethal. Linares as well is super smooth and has power. But I don't know, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I feel as well as if Haney's speed is also a bit underrated because all the other guys, the lightweights, are just extremely fast. It makes Haney look almost less fast, or even slow at times. But it's not why he's slow or even less fast. It's just that all these other guys are just insanely quick. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think
for
that
sure.
speed is a big factor in that fight. Is that can Linares keep up with Haney's speed, and can Haney get over Linares' size? Because Linares is a big guy for lightweights.
Yeah, he's huge. And yeah, I do agree. Speed plays a major factor. To be honest, in my opinion, I think speed plays a more important role than power because speed, in a way, equals
Mm,
power. The faster you get hit, the more it hurts, and you accumulate
yeah,
some power.
the big the bigger the impact is. And
Exactly,
shoot,
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I do hope it happens because it will be a great fight for sure. Um, last thing, Adrian Broner, we know that he's coming back on February 20th. You know,
yeah,
super excited for this fight. Gonna see the last fight I saw of Broner was against Pac-Man, so a while ago. Not a huge Broner fan myself, but I know you are, so I'll let you talk about it because, yeah, you have more experience
yeah,
in this area.
yeah. Broner's last time going in the ring was against Manny Pacquiao, and he did well in the beginning, but I feel like Pacquiao kind of took over, just momentum wise, combinations. I feel like Broner's always got select. He's got some of the best shot selection in boxing, but he's not the. He doesn't throw the most punches, and I feel like Pacquiao just threw more than him, so he won. But yeah, it's been a while since he's been out. Since he's been back, he's been in. So it'd be good to see, just him back in the ring again. I feel like he's probably not going to go up against someone who's like a huge threat right now. But I'm looking forward to him seeing work his way back up to title contention, because I do think that he wants to become world champion again. I feel like if he didn't, this whole comeback would be kind of pointless. So I'm looking forward to see him fight some of the top guys at 140, 135, whatever he chooses. So very exciting stuff. Not exactly for what's happening now, but for what it means for the future. At least to me, that's really exciting.
Do you think he's gonna become world champion again? Do you think he can pull this off?
I think he's got more of a chance of becoming world champion at 140 than 147 or 135. Let me
Yeah,
just say
very
that.
nice. Bro.
Welterweights and lightweight are packed. He doesn't want to go anywhere near those.
Yeah, true.
140 is the place to go. Even though Josh Taylor and Ramirez are both, beasts, I feel like he's got a better shot against them than like a Teo or a Haney or even like a Crawford or Spence.
Yeah, like those guys are elite level, and Broner has been off boxing for a while, so I definitely don't think that he has a chance against those top guys, especially not Theo, Spence, or Crawford. But yeah, also Broner has a lot of pressure because he needs to win this fight. Like, there's no way in
Mm.
hell he can lose this. If he loses, it's kind of pointless. So yeah, he needs to win.
Yeah, no, for sure. If he loses, this is his career over. This is all or nothing right now. He needs to work his way back up and work his way back up with wins. So it's interesting to see. Not necessarily how he does it, because I'm pretty sure most people think Broner is going to win, but it's more to see like how does he look after being out so long? Because we can look at his performances and be like, okay, realistically, does he have a shot at the top guys? Because Broner is someone who's he's been a pro since 2008. He's been a pro for 13 years now. He's you know most guys already be a bit over the hill by that point. So it'll be interesting to see just how much he has left in the tank.
For sure, yeah. I do think, Broner sometimes is a bit underrated because he's a veteran of the sport. 13 years is a while. And even though he might
Yeah,
not have the best skills in the game, his knowledge and IQ is like amazing. And I do think it's
yeah,
going to play a huge part on how he approaches this fight. And based on what I saw on his Instagram, it seems that he's very motivated. He's been training well. So
mm,
yeah, I think he's gonna come in strong, and he's gonna pull this win off.
yeah. And I feel like the thing he does a lot better than a lot of the guys currently in the game is that he's really good at applying pressure. Like he's really good at cutting the ring off without throwing any punches, just some footwork. And I think that's something that can cause some of the guys, currently some problems. Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Broner's biggest flaw is that he just doesn't throw enough punches. He's a bit too hesitant of his punches, so if he can get that in control, he can. He's so naturally talented. Like he can honestly just like I can even see him beating like some of the guys at lightweight if he on a good day. So it's really I'm happy him. I know we're saying this about Conor McGregor. We're saying Conor McGregor can do this, can do that. I mean, in the end, it's you can hype a guy out all you want, but this is time for Broner to prove himself. So looking forward to that next week. As crazy as
Yeah,
that
it's
is.
next week, so soon. It's definitely his moment to shine, and I mean for sure, like his ability to cut people off. It's kind of like McGregor's ability. When someone takes a step to the left, for example, he doesn't go to the left with them. He stays in front of them and goes diagonal, which is similar
Yeah,
to McGregor's style, and that obviously puts a lot of pressure because the fighter feels boxed in and nowhere to go. But it will be great to see my boy Adrian Broner back, and good luck to my man. So,
hmm
stepping away from boxing for a while, let's go to the UFC. Obviously, the biggest news right now in the UFC is that Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier 3 is in the works. Honestly, I do think it's a good thing for Conor. I know you don't, but if Conor manages to get this win, then it will be great. If he doesn't, it won't be great. It's a win-lose situation. But I know I'm serious because if he loses, then realistically speaking, that's his career done. Like he will lose respect from all of the fighters. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of pressure on McGregor, more on McGregor than on Poirier. What do you think?
I think it's a really, really, really hard fight for McGregor. I mean, if he wins, fair play, but it's one of those fights where it's like there's so much at stake for McGregor. You almost think, is it worth it? I mean, you got to respect his hustle. Like, you got to respect just like the fact that he isn't taking any easy fights. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but wouldn't going against a Ferguson or like someone a bit lower ranked be better before going back up to that, build your confidence up? But I mean, McGregor seems to know what he's done wrong in the first fight, which is not throw any kicks. He's been too much in that boxing stand. He needs to be more, loose like how he was before. But yeah, so I mean, it's all good and done, knowing what you need to do differently, but you actually need to practice it, and practice takes some time. So my thing is that I'm not against the trilogy. It's just that is this too soon or not? That's my question.
Yeah,
Anyway, what about you?
I mean, for sure, like it might be too soon, but we know for sure that it's not gonna be now because now you have UFC 289 coming up and all of that. So a lot of pre-events have been already established, but apparently it's set for May. So I do think McGregor has a bit of time to train because until May you have a bit of time. But yeah, I know for Dustin, the trilogy, there's literally no pressure on him because he proved himself. The pressure was
Yeah,
last fight because if he would have lost again, then that was it. But now because it's 1-1, Dustin literally has no pressure. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, though, has a lot of pressure, as you said. And like Poirier actually went up in the rankings. He's number two contender right now. Justin Gaethje is one. Khabib is champion. So he should go for someone really easier, like Ferguson or Max Holloway, which isn't like to be honest in UFC. There's no such thing as an easy fight. Everyone in the UFC is a hard fight, and that's what makes it a great sport.
yeah,
But I don't know if he knows because he said he knew what he did wrong. Having that boxing stance did leave him open for leg kicks, and those leg kicks messed his game plan up because at the end he had no left foot, so there was no way he could advance in the fight. But obviously that played a major factor in his loss. But Poirier's striking was just on point, so he needs to watch out on that. Um, but yeah. Um, Also, do you think Khabib will come back anytime soon to face any of these guys?
um, I can't see Khabib coming back. I mean, I feel like Khabib's already proven himself. Like he's proven. I feel like he's not done enough to be considered like one of the top five greats or any of the big greats when it comes to MMA. But I feel like in the division in this current era, he's already proven himself. So I mean, it would be interesting if Conor won because like, there's a financial interest for him in that. But with Dustin winning, he doesn't have too much. I mean, if Conor McGregor wins the Dustin match and then wins another one, then sure, maybe you know Khabib can come back and it can be a big money fight, and it can be a send off, if you will. But I think that is not too much interest apart from Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is the biggest name in combat sports, one of the biggest names in combat sports history. One, of,
Yeah.
he's up there with like a Mike Tyson, of a Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali. Conor McGregor has that level of popularity, influence, name recognition. I feel like Conor McGregor would be his fight to come back to, but if it's not McGregor, I don't think he'll be anyone. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. McGregor, even like if you look at followers, Instagram followers, he has the most followers from the entire UFC company. But that's interesting because there has recently been a rumor that GSP might be interesting in taking a title fight with Khabib. And honestly, I do not think Khabib stands a chance with GSP. And I'm not saying this because I'm a GSP fan, just because the way GSP is as a striker and his ground game is impeccable. I haven't
Yeah.
seen anyone's defensive ground game as good as GSP's. Like man can defend the submission easily and his ground game easily. Also, his striking is to be feared. So honestly, I do think GSP would produce an upset. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Do you think?
The thing is, what could be gained from that? I mean, that's a very high risk, low reward. I mean, GSP is a huge name, but what does that do for Khabib's legacy? That's
He
the
needs to
thing.
prove himself. If he manages to win, then no doubt he's the greatest. But this will be one of the toughest challenges. GSP Khabib,
Mm,
no, even Conor McGregor isn't as tough as GSP.
yeah, for sure.
Like
That'd be a good fight. I mean, I'd pay for it.
I would pay for it as well. Obviously, and for a financial standpoint, as you said, Conor McGregor is the easy one because it will produce a lot of money. But for a high risk fight, GSP is the way to go. And I'll be interested to see
Yeah, for
what
sure.
Khabib says. Sticking with UFC, recently my boy Alistair had his fight, his heavyweight fight. I think it was his last one because he's in his 40s, and as he said, it's his time is up soon. I do hope he's gonna retire on a win, but this last fight seemed to demoralize him a bit because it was kind of brutal to watch. I don't know about
Yeah,
you, but he was bloodied and beaten. And yeah, it was kind of sad to watch, man, because he's one of my favorite heavyweights in the UFC. And yeah, it was a brutal fight to watch. What do you think of it?
yeah. I thought it was one of those fights where you could see that there was a guy that used to be great who was in there when he really shouldn't have been. I feel like Alistair's already kind of past his time. He's kind of a bit like the Gamboa of the MMA. He was great, but he's still in it, and he shouldn't be in it anymore. I mean, especially fighting young lions like he is right now. I mean, it was kind of expected, to be honest. I was kind of hoping you'd win, just 'cause, like the amount of the amount of how much he's proven himself in the past. He's kind of built that respect for himself. But yeah, I hope he does, as you say, go off on a win. I hope he has the last easy fight and just retires, really, because I feel like Alistair's proven himself. He's a legend, and yeah, I feel like he is a great. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's an all time great, but he had a great career.
Yeah, he really did. And honestly, a lot of people saw Alistair as the favorite just because he had all of the advantages, height, reach, and he was a bit heavier. But unfortunately, it was completely one-sided. If we could say the first round was kind of equal, but he still got hurt in the first round and he was running around trying to recover. But in the second round, he got cornered in the corner, and yeah, he got dropped. He had a broken nose, and it was a shame to see a legend like that lose and thinking that it's his last fight potentially. It kind of sucks. But yeah, so our final topic for today, coming back to boxing, save the best one for last. Gervonta Davis potential fight in June. Who do you think he's gonna fight? A lot of variety here.
Well, I'm hoping it's Shakur Stevenson. It could be Ryan Garcia.
Mm,
It'll be interesting. Javante Davis is such a big name, but every move he makes, every division around the one he's in, it shakes things up. So it'll be good to see who he's against. And it'll be good to see if it's if he's gonna fight again at 130 or 135. Because I feel like he's kind of like in between those weights. He's kind of a bit of both.
yeah.
It'll be interesting. But honestly, for him, Chris Colbert's, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, David, all great fights. The Tank, those are huge fights. So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to choose to see which one he's chosen. But well, yeah, what do you buy? Who do you want?
Well, honestly, I want Tank to fight Ryan Garcia because that's such an anticipated fight, and I'm pretty sure the grand public wants to see that fight. And it will be, of course, it will be a great fight for Ryan Garcia to prove himself, to see if he's the real deal, because for sure this will be the hardest challenge by far. He wanted to go against Pacquiao, which, to be honest, was an immense step up from Luke Campbell. E- Even like fighting someone like Tank is a step up. But if he manages to win against Tank, which is highly unlikely, then he will be better prepared for someone like Pacquiao. But yeah, basically anyone at lightweight will be a great fight for Tank. Um, you know, Potentially even David Haney, but I don't think that's gonna be happening. To be honest, the most likely fight I see happening is either Shakur Stevenson or Ryan Garcia, and I see Tank winning against the two of them just because he had tougher fights than both of these guys. Leo Santa Cruz, a legend of the sport, and plus he's training with the money team,
For
so.
the four division world champion.
Yeah, he has nothing left to prove. We already know he's a great man. Like even if you look at his knockout ratio, it's greater than any heavyweight at the moment. It's basically the
Yeah.
perfect knockout ratio in boxing, which is in an
Apart from one
insane.
fight, one singular fight years ago.
Yeah, it's just an insane accomplishment. But yeah, that's kind of my fights. That's the opponents I want him to fight, and hopefully it does happen. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Ryan Garcia is gonna pussy out and make an excuse to be like, nah, fam, Pacquiao was first, and then I'll see what happens. Because I do think Garcia is kind of ducking Tank. Fair enough though, because to be honest, if he got knocked down from Luke Campbell's left hook, he will get slept by Tank's right.
I feel like Garcia wants time though. I feel like he doesn't necessarily want him now. I feel like what I mean. He's kind of doing a bit of his career after just get hype behind this. But I feel like he wouldn't mind having one or two fights behind his belt before pursuing Tank. Because let's be honest, Tank is a beast. In Oscar De La Hoya's words, he's a beast. I mean,
Yeah,
Tank. The only thing you can put against Tank is really his size because he does everything well. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, if Garcia gets hit by Tank's right hands, it's over. It's over. So I mean, I feel like Garcia's best advantage is to use his height, but I feel like he needs to become less flat-footed, and I think for that he needs to have a few more fights beforehand, just to get used to that. Because Tank and Ryan Garcia fight at two different levels. Ryan Garcia fights at contender level, and Tank fights at championship elite level.
Yeah.
And I feel like even though Devin Haney is also champion, he still fights at contender level because
Hmm.
all his opponents haven't been like that elite level. I feel like Gervonta Davis is just a cut above the rest. No, not necessarily above the Tio, even though we've only seen him really once or twice at that elite level. But I feel like he's just the most experienced guy, so it'll be hard for any of them to beat him right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's an easy KO for Garcia?
Of course, man, like bet the life support on Garcia and everything. No, but on all seriousness, I do think Tank is the hardest fight for any lightweight. Just because of his unpredictable and his movement. Like Tank's movement is probably the best in the entire division.
For sure.
Tio has the best combinations by in terms of movement and defense. Tank surpasses everyone. So yeah.
Yeah.
But but yeah, guys, we've gone through all the topics. So yeah, that was the episode for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed and catch you in the next one. Till then, peace
Catch you
out.
in the next one. Peace out.
Okay.
I'm gonna float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't hit what you can't see. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I'm gonna float like a butterfly.